Hello, everybody. We are going to get started on the work for Unit 2, Week 2, which is we did psychoanalysis last time. We're going to do behaviorism and humanist theories this time. So this is the first page that you land on, right? And so I'm going to put another video. This video that I'm recording right now is going to end up being right there in a little bit. Okay, so remember, you go to Materials, and you go to Quarter 1. And we're in psychological theories, and you can tell where we are because of the asterisks. All right, so far we've done psychoanalysis. You guys have done the quiz. You guys posted into the psychoanalytic school of thought. You've turned in your school of thought. You're working on your famous psychologist draft. I've seen a couple of those. They're looking good. And this week we're going to talk about the behaviorists and the humanists. This guy here, B.F. Skinner, you're going to get to know him very well. He's all about behaviorism. You're going to learn about Ivan Pavlov. You're going to learn about Bandura. So we're going to have some interesting conversations this week. So work week. I decided that I was going to record the kind of lecture thing, that goes through these PowerPoints here. You can, if you have like Microsoft PowerPoint on your computer that you have, you can just click on here and open it up and take a look. If you don't have a Microsoft Office stuff on your computer, you can click into the PDF and open that up, and it's the same PowerPoint. It's just not quite as awesome looking as the Microsoft one. But if you play the video, it's me talking through the theories, kind of like I was doing last week. I decided not to do that for this webinar this week because, well, I want to touch base on a couple of things and, not spend an entire, 45 minutes just talking about, just throwing theory at you. You can watch this at your own pace, take good notes, pause it, go back, all that stuff, so that you can do your best on the quiz. It's right there, okay? So watch the video, okay? That's why it's here first, right? And you can click on the webinar quiz, right, and take the quiz from the video and the PowerPoints, okay? The webinar this week, we're going to discuss some of these things because, it's going to take a little bit of mental processing on your part to wrap your head around them. We're going to talk about conditioning here. You can kind of see it in the video, classical conditioning and operant conditioning and how they work. And then we're going to talk about, the humanistic schools of thought and why they're different and how they're different. Okay, so your first step is going to be to watch the video here, take the quiz. The second step is going to be to watch the webinar video because the webinar video is going to be all about, what makes behaviorism and humanistic schools of thought different. So that's going to be helpful. All right, but you want to make sure when you're watching the webinars that you have your schools of thought ready to go. Okay, so we did a school of thought last week, the psychoanalysis. And so, we want to do the same thing this week so that you have, by the end of this, you'll have 4 sheets of paper, right, about the different schools of thought. And in each paper, you'll be able to compare them and contrast them for our final kind of project that we're going to do for this unit. Okay, so you're going to need good notes. And if I was you, I wouldn't even take notes in the traditional way. I would just take the school of thought thing, the school of thought paper, and, use that to take my notes in as we're going along. Fill it in, and then it doubles for notes and for your assignment, and so you kill 2 birds with 1 stone. All right. Second thing you want to do after you've done the quiz is take a look at some of these videos. There's a little bit about behaviorism and about how to do shaping experiments, which you might actually do a little bit later on when we do our own conditioning experiments. One of the things you could do would be a shaping one. So it's kind of interesting about how you give little rewards for behavior, and then eventually that behavior repeats and repeats and repeats, and then it's pretty interesting. Here is also a short clip from kind of a longer film that I watched actually in my master's class about play therapy. So it's an example of like a humanistic kind of mixed with a psychoanalysis kind of method of how you deal with kids. So those of you that are thinking about being child psychologists, this is a lot of the stuff that you'll be doing. So you should take a look at it. The girl is totally adorable, and what you'll see the famous therapist doing. His name is Gary Landreth. He's in like the guru of play therapy. Um, you'll see him do something that's called tracking, which is, as the girl is playing with things in the room, he is talking to her and telling her back what she's doing so that she can become aware of everything that she does. Kids love that, especially young kids. My 5-year-old, when I track with her, because I kind of tested this out on her, um, uh, as I was tracking with her, man, she just thought that was the greatest thing at all because I was like totally focused on her and, nothing else mattered, right? So watch the video, it's really interesting. And then post into the behaviorist and humanistic school of thought discussion. What you're going to see here is Jasmine already posted in there. Nice job, Jasmine. What you found interesting about the behaviorists or the humanists. We're going to talk about conditioning and reinforcement and modeling and the therapeutic relationship and self-awareness, all those sorts of things. So what Jasmine would have to do here to become proficient, though, is to post to other people's discussions, right? So, I'm going to post a reply here to her, but then she needs to make sure that she is posting to other people's discussions. And that would be proficient. Okay, so remember to answer the question like Jasmine did here. Nice job, Jasmine. And make sure that you also post to other people's. All right, so let's scroll on down here. After you post into the Behaviorist School of Thought thing, and keep coming back throughout the week because you'll see other people's posts and you can comment on them. You can say things like, hey, that's a great idea. I never thought of it that way. Or here's another example of that. Or hey, that happened to me too. Or I think you missed this part. Or explain more of this. That sort of thing. That's what you want to post there. And then we have 2 schools of thought. So if you're doing what I told you before, and you're watching the webinar here and taking notes in the School of Thought documents, which, if you click into the assignment, they're posted right here. See these? If you just open one of these up while you're watching the webinar, one half is on behaviorist theory and one half is on humanist theory. If you open those up and you're just typing into your School of Thought stuff, then you're all set. You can turn it in for an assignment. You have your notes. You're going to be prepared for the test because you can use these on the test. So, you're going to be in good shape. All right. And that is basically it for the work for this week. You just have, some of you haven't turned in a draft yet for your famous psychologist. So I know some of you are working on that because I've seen parts of drafts and research and that sort of thing. So make sure that you're working on your draft. And then all you have to do is the webinar quiz if you don't make the webinar, or if you want advanced, if you do make the webinar. You have to post into the behaviorist discussion. You have to watch the videos before you do that, though, because it gives you like a good idea of how it works. And then, make sure that you turn in your schools of thought, and then you're done for the week. Yay! I want to say that next week, the first week of September, I am not going to be in town. I'm up in the mountains going on a fishing trip with my father-in-law. I will have internet access in the evening, so I'll be checking in on the discussion, for instance, right? I'll be checking in here and posting, discussion stuff. So, if you have a question about that sort of thing, you can definitely, send me an email or something like that, and I'll be able to talk about it. But if you need something, you need to contact Ms. Doran, the principal. She's going to be kind of looking in on my class from time to time, making sure everything's going okay. All right. So next week, you're going to see another video, just like this, instead of a webinar. Okay. And I'll send out an email on Friday to remind everybody too. But today, September 30th, we're going to have a nice video a nice webinar all about the wonders and the joys of behaviorist and humanistic schools of thought. All right? All right, guys. Have a good week. And I will see you next week.